Thanks everyone. Good afternoon, everybody. Myself, Dr. Nishita. I will be presenting on how to measure vision and eye examination in the age group 6 to 12 years. So, why at all an eye examination is needed in kids? This is because the child does not realize if the visual problem is unilateral, and parents do not realize it either unless the child complains most of the times. And still, it is a very sensitive age for development of amblyopia if abnormal visual experience stays uncorrected. Also, this is the age where the child recognizes self and can easily get stigmatized in school due to squint, nystagmus, abnormal head postures, etc. At 6 years of age, what happens is the working distance of the demand of the child changes from 3 meters to approximately 6 meters. While learning visual skills like eye focusing, tracking, trimming, eye-hand coordinations are more in demand. In sports, also clear distance vision, good depth perception, wide field of vision, and good eye-hand coordination is necessary. And again, it is the age where still we can intervene, give corrections, and hold on the child from becoming amblyopic. Thinking of this, NPCB came with school eye screening program, which started for kids between 9 to 14 years of age. It involved trained primary school teachers as the examiners, and hence the false positivity rate is high. The use 6 by 12 tumbling E optotype is taken as cutoff, and kids who were having vision less than 6 by 12 were followed up with experts. But the follow-up is still poor, and the compliance, if the spectacles are given to the spectacles, is also not 100%. This was all going on good in pre-COVID era, but the school world came to complete standstill in March 2020, and the pandemic COVID started. But for kids, along with pandemic COVID, myopia is a bigger pandemic. So we need to spread a word and be proactive regarding screening of such kids. Also, there are no outdoor activities. Excessive use of digital devices is going on, and this has made the parents aware of the same, and they are voluntarily coming to get their kids screened for visual problems. For all this, the complaints of the kids are generally frequent rubbing or blinking, redness, frequent styes. They cover one eye or have specific head tilts or tongue, or squint, headache, eye strain, and also losing place while reading, underperformance in sports activities, even when they're physically normal. Surprisingly, undetected and untreated vision problems may elicit symptoms very much similar to ADHD like attention distractibility. Also, kids with proven ADHD spectrum also have significant visual problems. We need to assess them. So how this vision can be assessed in these school-going kids? It can be simply done with Snail and chart because all of them are aware with the alphabets. Little modifications can be done with for AMLAPs like placing bars around the symbols. Or ETDRS is a better thing because we can diagnose as well as monitor such kids. It is generally checked monocularly as well as binocularly, unaided as well as aided for distance and near. And for those having nystagmus, one eye needs to be popped. If not done previously, color vision must be tested as it may interfere school performance and job profile later. Diffraction is generally done with cycloplegic drugs. PMT is needed when there is a difference between readings between before and after cycloplegia. But autorefraction is a big no for testing such. Eye examination starts generally when the child walks in the OPD. It starts with the head posture, and head posture is abnormal. That means the child is trying to have binocular vision. If there is a tilt, you should do a 3-step test. If you want to distinguish between ophthalmic or orthopedic torticollis, you can have patch test to be done. Adnexal examination can reveal some lid deformities like ptosis or coloboma or capillary hemangiomas, and they may lead to systemic diagnosis like Horner syndrome because of neuroblastoma and colobomas associated systemic disorders. Changes in pulmonary fissure can be seen in case of complex squints like DRS. On adduction, there is a retraction. Pseudosquints are common in case of lid formations like epicanthus. Ocular alignments are generally checked with cover test, uncover, and measured with Piesenbach cover test. If child is uncooperative, we can go ahead with Krimsky or modified Krimsky test. Ocular motility is generally checked in all 9 cases. Both ductions and versions should be checked. In case of binocular function, we need to check NPC, NPA, and accommodation facility and amplitude. Accommodation function, especially accommodative facility, is of prime importance whenever child's reading ability is concerned. It has been shown that accommodative facility and stereoacuity are best predictors of reading performance of a child, especially in the age group 5 to 7 years. Fusion for near and distance should be checked with Warford dot test. Stereoacuity should be checked with Rand dot test. Slit lamp examination for anterior posterior segment should be done thoroughly. tilted disc, colobomas, temporal tract, macular star, cherry red spot can lead you to a specific diagnosis. A passing reference should be given to child abuse and pediatric ocular trauma. Eye direct target in child abuse. Retinal hemorrhages with retinal folds and macular retinoschisis in the absence of skull fractures or automobile accident history is typically seen in abusive head trauma like shaken baby syndrome. Trauma during sports and recreation activities is also common, and any trauma to the eye should be thoroughly evaluated. If need be, the child should be taken under GA and examined. So this is a summary how a comprehensive eye examination should be done, and the child should be followed up later on. To summarize, afterwards, we also need to have regular and frequent follow-up of such kids. Vision must be checked at all follow-ups. Amblyopic kids, after giving classes for the first time, should be followed up after 6 weeks. And after routinely starting amblyopia therapy, should be followed up 3 and 6 monthly. Cycloplegic refraction should be done 6 monthly, at least annually. At every visit, you should explain about care of screen time guidelines, importance of outdoor activity.